What I was gonna say is there's no reason for $80 games. Like, period. Like, I don't want to go specifically over it because I would have to sit back and, like, kind of do it, but... Fuck it, you know what? Here's what we're doing. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. It is time to pause Chibi Robo to talk about why the fuck I hate, like, stupid shit. Okay? And I'm gonna pull out two things. First I need paint. And second, I need a specific... it's not really a tweet. It's something I saw on the other side. Where is it? Here we go. Alright. So this happened about a couple months back when they were talking about Borderlands. Like, haha, and Randy Pitchford decided that he's going to stick his foot in his mouth. Which is, this is from Blue Sky. I have no patience for this. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time retailed for $59.95 in November 1998. That is $117.27 today. You're dramatically underpaying for games right now. In fact, AAA studios are killing themselves with big bet live service disaster and microtransactions to cover the cost. I'm gonna show y'all something really fun. If Matthew Ball's State of Video Gaming in 2025. This is the thing that started the conversation about $100 GTA. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, because there's one of my favorite slides in this, which I have to note. This is the budget of several games over the last 15 years. And 15 years was like from 2009 to 2004. This is budgets only. This does not include marketing. This does not include publishing costs. This does not include DLC. This does not include microtransactions or support. This is specifically the cost to develop a game. 2009. You can see Final Fantasy 13 down here. It's a little bit above 50 million. So let's sit back and say like 60, 65 million. Right down here is Call of Duty, right under $50 million. And even down here, it's God of War 3. Final Fantasy 16. And you can see this. Here's 13. Here's 14. Which is a little bit more. And that's for, I believe, a Realm Reborn. No, that might not be a Realm Reborn. No, that is around the time of Realm Reborn. It's 75 million. Here's Final Fantasy 15 at 150 million. Here's Final Fantasy 16 at $225 million. I have one other. Let me pull up. Whoops! I don't really want to show you all my bookmarks. I saved it. Where are you? Where is the inflation calculator? Ah, here we go. Here's the inflation calculator. So, let's put it like this. In 2009 and 2023, you make a game for... If you make a game for 65 million, in 2003, that would have been $92 million. So, this game right here, Final Fantasy 13, would not even hit here. This is why anybody tells you inflation is the issue is fucking batshit insane. Because this is not an issue of inflation. This is an issue of ballooning budgets. Why does it cost $50 million or less than $50 million to make Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 when Call of Duty Black Ops 6, it's technically Black Ops 5, aka Cold War, is $550 million. Halo 6 Infinite is $600 million. Spider-Man 1 is under $1 million in 2017. $100 million in 2017. The number here is about $330 million in 2023. This is not inflation. This is never been inflation. It has been 100% ballooning budgets. Because how else are you going to cover the cost? Which is why everybody kind of wants to sit back and go, yeah, this is unsustainable. This is absolutely unsustainable. Which kind of comes back to the Zelda thing, okay? I looked up how much it costs to develop Ocarina of Time. Let's sit back and say, if this is $60, okay? Ocarina of Time had a budget of $12 million. Okay? I don't care about spelling. Fuck you. Here's the breakdown of the cost. And I'm going to be mean about this. There's a 30% retail. Let's say 30% retail. That is kind of like moderate, like percentage. And I did these math. 30% is retail. That is $18. There's a licensing fee. And this is why a lot of third parties are, for Nintendo, were fucking godforsaken. So Nintendo pays $0 on a license fee. So that leaves them with $42. But reminder, that's not $42 of revenue, because manufacturing. Manufacturing an N64 cart costs $30. In today's money, that's nearly $60. So Nintendo, being the most not even generous to them, makes $12 per card on Ocarina of Time. They would need 1 million sales. They would only need 1 million sales to cover manufacturing or cover the budget of that game. In March of 1998, that there was 15 million N64 sold. In March of 1999, that number is 23 million. Being not generous to Nintendo, they would have to sell. They would have an attachment rate. Need an attachment rate of like 7% to make back that money. Now, this doesn't even cover advertisement costs, which might be another 20 million. So then they would need 3 million to cover that, which is about 21%. And reminder, that's me being mean to Nintendo. You know what? Why? You know what the big thing was? It was manufacturing. Manufacturing. You know how much it costs to press a CD? Fuck it, it cost $1. It cost $1 to press a CD in 1998. If Nintendo was stupid, and this is one of the reasons why the fucking N64, like everybody uses N64s and cartridges, because they were more expensive to fucking manufacture. A CD cost $1. That means if Nintendo, still keeping $60, would have sat back and made $41 per every system sold. But that would be stupid. Because guess what? Do you want to know something really, really fucking funny? They could have kept it at $60. Like, most people could have made it at $60. But a lot of PlayStation games... Where am I? Okay. A lot of PlayStation games, they're like $30. Maybe $40. Now, here's the funny part. You think, oh, well, if they're 30 to $40, that means that they're going to make less money, right? They're going to make less money, period. Well, reminder, 30% of retail costs, so 30% of $30 is, I think it's, is $1. Wait, no, it's not $1. Fuck, I'm being stupid. 30% is, I think, $10. No, it's like $9 or $8. 30% of fuck. I'm getting, this is stupid. Wait, here we go. So 30% of this is like $9. Plus the $1 in manufacturing costs is $10. You would be making $20 per system. Like, Sony makes $20. Now, there's also the license fee. So, like, you talk about $9, so then it would have been like $11. You make just as much money. And if you put it at $40, you make slightly more. The reason why gaming became $30 to $40 and started to grow was because we went to CDs. CDs lowered manufacturing costs. With lowered manufacturing costs, games could be cheaper, which means that people would be willing to buy more games. People are less willing to sit back and spend $60, $70, $80 on a video game than they are $20, $30, $40. Like, a first-party Sony game could be $30 and make more money than a first-party Nintendo game just because of, you know, yeah, the fucking retailer is making half the money.
Chat. You know it to be true. Zava is a Nintendo plant.
Yeah, I'm a
After
Nintendo
all,
plant
like
shitting
most
upon
plants,
Nintendo right
he's
now.
Green. Slap his nuts.
But, like, you can understand. So when somebody sits back and goes, oh, we're drastically underpaying. We're drastically underpaying. We're drastically underpaying. No, we're not. Gaming is much bigger. You have a much bigger market now. You can sell more for less as long as the manufacturing costs are down. Period. The only reason why these companies are going $70, $80 is because their fucking budgets are way too big. Because they're hiring thousands of people to work upon a game. And those games are getting bottlenecked. Like, there's other issues where fucking, there are people who are working on games right now that are doing nothing but watching Netflix or just scrolling Twitter. And the reason why is not because they're fucking lazy. The reason why is because they can't do anything until another branch finishes their work so they can continue the work that they need to do. Because suddenly these games are so big and massive that, like, you can't, that multiple teams cannot actually work on it at the same time without having to wait around for one team to get done. It's fucked. You got an entire, I like to say, it's completely fucked, and it's why it feels like independent games, at very least, are coming out and at a reasonable time. Hell, I'll sit back and say, one of the reasons why Expedition 33 is $50 and seemingly was only created within 4 years has to do with actually using the stuff that Unreal provides. Like, the models are modifications of, I forgot what the actual thing is called. There's something that Epic provides that allows you to do work easy. You have a team of 30 internally, and then you have an outside studio that handles, like, I think something else that is only like 80 people. Yeah, I might. And when you have that stuff, it becomes a lot easier for a game to get out. And, like, I do think there's, like, indies are not always immune. I think, like, part of the problem is when you have too little people, it does take a long time. Like, I do think Team Cherry has too little people.
Nintendo games are
oh my
already
God.
very expensive. I don't buy them because of how expensive they are. The fact that they're going to be more expensive makes me want to not buy a Switch 2. Why wouldn't I just buy games on Steam? I can get an indie game on Steam, with no microtransactions, with unique and innovative ideas, with heart and soul, for $15, or I can get Bing Bing Wahoo for $80. Don't get me wrong. I like Bing Bing Wahoo sometimes. But not for $80. Never for $80.
And guess what? You are legitimately the majority consensus. Like, I don't... when it comes down to Mario Kart 8, or sorry, World, sorry, fuck. The $80 is definitely there to get people to buy the bundle for $500, because you buy a console because you're going to buy you're usually going to buy a console and you're going to buy a game on the console, right? Even if it comes with, like, a free game like Wii Sports, typically a person also buys something else along with it. Usually a first party, because those are usually going to be the ones that, like, you know, showcase, you know, the hardware. Like, example, with the PS5, we bought Demon's Souls. Even though it came with Astro's Playroom. Hello, Yoshi. 8.2. Well... I will not say that it's 8.2. Got to go. Moving on. People want to buy at least something, and the game that you're going to buy, if you're a fan of Nintendo, is you're going to buy fucking Mario Kart. You're going to buy Mario Kart. And for them to offer the bundle is them kind of admitting, like, as I said, I think people are not going to buy Mario Kart for $80, but they are going to buy the bundle that comes with Mario Kart for what is $30 less. Because you're already getting the system, so that's $450 right on the table. You were already going to buy another game, because otherwise you have nothing on the Switch 2 outside of old games. So why not? So then that's the reason why I think it's $80. I think they wanted to push that. Now, I don't know the manufacturing cost of, like, the Switch 2 cartridges. Supposedly, the rumor is the 64GB cart, which is, like, the only option Nintendo is offering third parties, is about $25 per cart to manufacture. Which is why Nintendo offers the game key cards in the first place. And I can 100% understand why developers, like, go for that option. Because if you're going to sell a $40 to $50 game and it costs more than half to just manufacture, plus, you know, retailers cut, plus the license fee cut, you're not going to sit back and have any money by just giving a physical copy. Unless it's already a game that costs $60, $70. It's not the no, it's the thing is that it seemed Nintendo was set up to just roll through, because like Microsoft is dead and dying. We see them dead and dying. They're going multi-plat. Sony has been fucking up so hard because of live service games, because Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst decided those are the games that we want to make. And we put all of our money and effort into big AAA titles and live service without, like, allowing for smaller games to be developed. And now they're scrambling to just figure out, like, after the leadership change, scrambling to figure it out. Nintendo is set up to just roll in with a system that is less powerful than a Series S, but can still probably play a lot of these games, and, you know, will have a cornerstone in the market of Japan. And then decided, yeah, we're going to make our cartridges way too expensive, and we're not going to offer any, like, lower-end deals. We're just going to, like, you know, if you want to have the cheaper option, you're going to have to use game key cards. And then we're going to charge $70, $80. We're going to charge $70 because that's industry standard now. Even though there is nothing, like, I'm going to be honest here for a second. I don't think Nintendo's games go above 100 million. It is very hard. I am very hard pressed to think that somehow a Nintendo game becomes 150, 200, 300 million dollars. It's very hard. It's very hard to sit back and feel like Mario Kart 8 justifies $80. Like, I know that game's been in development hell for, gosh, they said 8 years? They started working on it in 2007. By 2020, they realized they can't do it on the current hardware. And then, like, they went and go, okay, well, we'll make it for the Switch too. But we are going to do this booster course pack. Like, it's hard-pressed for me to go, oh, that game costs, like, 200 million, 150 million. That somehow Nintendo has to have it at 80 to make it back. And I don't think they do have to have it at 80. I think that's the reason why, you know, they have it at, they bundled it in for like $50. World, yeah, sorry. I keep saying 8 because I'm used to 14 years of 8, or whatever, 11, 12 years of 8. A decade of 8. But, like, period. There is no justification for this. And to go, oh, you're vastly underpaying. It's like, no, you're ignoring every single thing about game development to kind of get this weird gotcha because you don't understand the manufacturing costs of making a cartridge versus making a fucking CD. And hell, like, hey, nowadays I think it's $2 to press a Blu-ray. Most console games only need one disc. There's only like one game that has 2 discs, and that was Rebirth. But even past that, we live in an age of digital distribution. We live in an age of digital distribution when a first party has their own store on their own console and makes 100% of the revenue. Buying Mario Kart 8 digitally gives Nintendo $80 up front. No manufacturing, no fucking percentage to Walmart or Best Buy or Amazon. That is $80 whole dollars. For all of these third-party games, like, even if you want to go, okay, Sony takes like 30%, or I don't know how they split up retail and licensing fees over there with like that. I know like 100% Steam doesn't have a licensing fee because you don't license Steam through Steam. And I don't think a lot of Sony games or Microsoft games have licensing fees either. I think that's mostly a Nintendo thing. I could be wrong. I can be wrong. Somebody wants to correct me on that, please. You know. But like in an age of digital distribution, when, you know, a store is taking 30% and then you get the rest of that money, like a $60 game costs is $42 if there is no license fee. If they're not doing a license fee on top of that, which I don't think they would. It's like fucking nothing. It's fucking nothing. It's like you're getting, which is one of the reasons why, you know, there's a big push for digital, because guess what? You get more money. As an independent dev who cannot manufacture anything, it does help them a lot. And, you know, in the realm of PCs where physical is non-existent, you know, you're gaining a lot of money because, you know, hell, even if Valve takes the 30% that they do, you know, you're still gaining a lot more than you would. I mean, even if you're physical, like, I think that would have been like less, or it's only a couple dollars less because it would be through CDs or something else. But it's this idea that you're underpaying is fucking ridiculous. You're not underpaying. What's happening is that these budgets are ballooning up to such a point where it's unsustainable, and this is one of the reasons why the industry is just kind of crashing. And yeah, fucking it really fucking sucks. And I haven't even talked about Microsoft's end of this entire thing. The reason why they're doing $80 games is ridiculous because their games aren't selling. The Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S are like 30 million the last time I checked. PS5 is 75 million. And the Switch 1 is over 100, you know, million, but like that's lesser technology. That's a 10-year-old phone or 13-year-old phone at this point. Maybe it's a 10-year-old phone. You have Game Pass. People are paying, I think, $15 a month at bare minimum for like regular Game Pass. And like, there were some assholes like, oh yeah, they're making like, why aren't they making money? Like, why do you keep saying they're not making money when they're earning like over $200 per person per year? And it's like, well, number one, a smart person, not a dumbass, which I guess most of Microsoft's consumers are a bunch of dumbasses if they're allowing this to happen, would not allow their subscription to roll over if they're not using it. That's number one. I could pay for a month of Game Pass and then go through all the games that I want to, and then if I didn't get all the games that I want to, I might pay for a second month. But if I'm done with it, I can just stop it. And I've only given Microsoft $30. On top of that, that does not cover the cost of the multitude of games that Microsoft has released.
Now talk about the money Nintendo and Sony are charging for you to play games online versus the amount of money Steam charges to play games online.
We can get to that soon. We can get to that one soon. Let me look up Microsoft. I need to look up Microsoft Games 2024 through 20. Because this gets brought. This is a thing that I kind of like thought about. Where is it? there was a list of games. I need to see the list of Microsoft games past year. Microsoft Studio published games. Microsoft Video Games. Oh, this ain't. There was something that I wanted to point out, but it's... I can't find it right this second. Or I'm not willing to go through it right this second. But Microsoft still pushed out like 10 games. Or I think it's under 10 games. Some of them are $40, some of them are $70 over the last year. Not everybody's going to play every single one of those games, but if you're buying like 2 or 3 games, or would have bought 2 or 3 games, which would have pushed it like even the bare minimum on like the lower end of Game Pass, you're saving. Microsoft's losing money off of that. Like if I sat back and bought, I think it's Oblivion Remastered. If I bought, like, Age of Mythology, and if I bought, let's say, Call of Duty, I would have spent more money than it is to spend, like, an entire year of Game Pass. Of, like, the basic tier of Game Pass. If I owned an Xbox. And if I only paid $15... Microsoft lost a shit ton of money off of that. But let's go back to what Evelyn said. The money Nintendo and Sony are charging you. The majority of one of the biggest reasons why Sony is still able to kind of function is because they make a shit ton of money off of paying for online. The PlayStation Plus generates a lot more money for them than selling a video game. Just charging for the ability to play your paid-for games online. Now, of course, you know, I've stopped. Mostly because they raised the price to like $80 a year. I paid for like 3 months when Monster Hunter came out because I wasn't going to play that on PC if I can't stream it. Unless I, you know, don't want to stream it. Because... And... Oh god, if I had, because there was like so many fucking issues that people had, like streaming that game at launch. Where it's like, oh yeah, this crashed OBS. I'm like, okay. Want to know why I don't do this? But yeah, they make a lot more money. Like, Nintendo could sit back and probably turn that off, and they'll be fine. As long as they could go back to charging $60 a year, or $60 for a game. If they start getting high off the fucking, like, galaxy gas, then yeah, they're going to need to sit back and, you know, continue their fucking Nintendo Online bullshit to kind of keep it up, because they're not going to make enough money charging fucking $80 for a fucking video game. Like, and I guess as kind of one last thing, back to the funny not 88. Back to the funny Zelda one. If Ocarina of Time cost $12 million to make in 1998, it would only cost... Oh wait, that's 2023. Sorry. Let's make sure it's current year, because we had massive inflation. It'll cost 23. Let's just say 24 million. It costs double. It would just cost double to make Ocarina of Time. But that's still nowhere near the number it would be for, I guarantee, Breath of the Wild. or Tears of the Kingdom. And then even like let's even go from one of the most expensive games, one of the most expensive games during that time. Final Fantasy VII cost $45 million by estimates in '97. That would be about $90 million today. And the funny part is, let's see, let me throw this back up. If you go back to the Matthew Ball one, where is it? Final Fantasy 13 cost, I'm going to sit back and say about $65 million in 2009. Guess how much Final Fantasy 7 would have cost in 2009? Oh, look at that. $60 million. Which went with inflation. And Final Fantasy 13, was about a $60 game. It wasn't a $40 game. But that rose with, inflation. But games nowadays, they're not rising with inflation. They're rising because of ballooning budgets. And if anybody tells you that it's because of inflation, they either A, they don't know how games are made, or they're not paying attention to how budgets are being done. There's something else within this ball graph that I think was kind of unique. Because if I remember correctly, like, as I said, this presentation is legitimately where fucking, like, the whole, $100 GTA was happening. But, like, this is, like, because this guy is some stupid analyst. New growth engines were legitimately non-core markets, UGC platforms and tools, which is kind of like Roblox, social game services, the Switch 2, stuff like the Steam Deck. For some reason, him thinking that if you just make better mobile games or go to the AAA games, it would be better. Making new genres of games, AI to lower the cost, which won't, advertising, and then of course the last one, which is GTA 6 pricing. Let me see if I can find what it is. And it's really weird because like GTA fucking 5 is fucking sells a lot. But some game makers hope GTA 6 will be priced at 80 to 100, breaking the 70 billion, helping $50 titles move up to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80. Like, legitimately, I love this idea. Recall that game prices have never been lower in terms of real tough problems starved worse than stalled by. It's like the real prices and like how much like the standard prices have gone up. I love this one because this is bullshit. Like, the standard game was not $50 fucking through most of this. You dipshit. Yeah, it's a different... But the real price has gone down. It's like... That ignores so much. It ignores so goddamn much. Like... Fucking... It's I feel like only the crazies would buy, like, even GTA 6 for 100. It's like, there's no reason. But, yeah, like, the problem I have is anytime someone brings up the old price of games, it ignores the cost of manufacturing. It ignores the fact that Nintendo, like, had license fees out the ass. It ignores the fact that the gaming market was smaller. Like, I just said, like, Nintendo had to, like, just to make back the budget of fucking like, of Ocarina of Time, they have to have a I think it's a 5 to 7% attach rate at the time. Being generous to Nintendo, 5%, because about the time Ocarina of Time released, there's about 20 million units of N64. So if you only need to sell 1 million to make back the budget, not the marketing, but just the budget alone, that's 5%. If you're being very mean to Nintendo, that's 15 million, and that's 7%. With marketing, that's somewhere between 15% and 21% attach rate, which for a Nintendo console is fine. But you don't have, like, that potential anymore. You have so much bigger, you have so much more, like, install base. Balatro, like, has an install base probably of hundreds of millions of people. Balatro can easily make back its money if it goes even like 2%. Because it'll be everybody with a Switch, everybody with PS5, everybody with an Xbox, everybody with PC and Steam, with a computer that can run it, which is very, very wide berth. Tariffs are kind of, like, and tariffs are the other issue, but, like, even for hardware, that's one thing. But for software, like, it's pennies on the dollar to manufacture. Like, the worst part would be Nintendo, because they have, like, higher manufacturing costs. But to press a disc is not the same. And for, like, in a world of digital distribution, when you're selling PC games, it matters not. That's the reason why, like, I don't look at the tariff. I look at the tariffs from the angle of the hardware. And, like, the fact that flops, like, every now and then. Because I think, let me find the guy. Because, Taki Udon, who is the guy behind the Mr. Pie. Which is the thing that I have which is the thing I just bought, like, a couple weeks ago. Where is it? Where is it? Trying to scroll through his stuff. Wait, this is with replies. Let me just do posts. That way I can find it. Fuck, where is it? That's a superstation. Okay. This is really funny. Okay, the tariff for, like, gaming consoles is 20% with the pause. So it costs, like, 20% for, like, a gaming console, I think, if you order it from, like, if it pre-built, it's, like, 20%. And then wherever that number goes, like, if Donnie Deals decides to do whatever he wants to do, that, we're gonna make a certain rate with Vietnam or a certain rate with this. Yeah, you do. But I think this is funny. A gaming console PCB declared as a PCB gets hit at 70. And, like, as Max basically states or asks, essentially, if I was to buy this fucking Mister and it didn't come, like, pre-packaged and it was just the PCBs, like, separate, the near $200 I paid would have been way, 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 way more. And like, and this was after he was talking about the Mr. Pi and the Super 5, which is his OLED replacement for the Switch. Was like, because part of the reason why he had to like stop like doing shipments to the US for like a month was because of the tariffs. And it's one of the reasons why I ended up having to just like 100% wait on this fucking console, this Mr. Pi that's sitting on top of the GameCube. Like, why I needed to do it now, because if it went one way or the other, like, for what this thing is, an FPGA open source console that basically runs games the most accurately it can due to how FPGA works. That thing might have been 300, 400, which pushes it to where the regular Mister was, which was already 300 to 400, or sorry, 400. How much is it? Hold on. How much was just the Mister from Mr. Add-ons? Oh, 450. I got, which is like, this thing used to be like 600. And originally released for like $300 to $400. And like, because I waited so long, I just ended up having to just fucking not get one. And then the Pis rolled around, and I was like, well, I want to wait to see, like, you know, do people have problems with the Mr. Pi because it's a cheaper option? Turns out no. So I'm like, okay, maybe one day. And then, like, all the bullshit with the tariffs happened, and that forced me to get one of these. But yeah, like, and like, to understand, like, the reason why I grabbed these things is because they're FPGA consoles. They are, the way those things work is you program the FPGA, the processing chip, and since you're able to program that, you can program it to act as like the CPU on the SNES, the processor on the SNES. So instead of running a program or an emulator to wrap around a game to run it upon hardware, you would just be programming. You just program the hardware, and then it just runs the game, which is one of the reasons why it has a lot more accuracy than just regular emulators. It's kind of like how I have the ODE, the optical disc emulator, in this GameCube, which that thing substitutes the optical disc drive in a way where I don't have to worry about buying a game. That way, you know, I'm still using the GameCube's hardware, but you know, this game, Chippy Robo, that's running off of a piece of hardware that is acting like the optical disc drive of a GameCube. Man, I fucking just continue to talk. I'm not sure. Did I go for like an hour? I don't remember. Fuck, I have kind of just been doing whatever. Maybe I'll probably sit back and highlight this. I don't want to break it up into whatever, because, like, okay, there's a big giant pause in between all of this because I decided I want to go off and talk about why $80 games is fucking stupid, and how people who use, like, older games as an example are kind of ridiculous when the issue is never inflation, is budgets. But yeah.